What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be doing a follow-up video to one we dropped a couple weeks ago, talking about the 10 small fixes we want to see in Madden 21. Those are things that are essentially would be like patches, if not viewed as like a big patch items. Stuff that's very realistic that we could see implemented and executed in Madden 21. But we're going to follow it up here today with the 10 big fixes we want to see in Madden 21. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more unrealistic, as some of these are like big selling point features that they probably can't and most likely didn't do in one game cycle. But I think what's really important, we've seen it referenced before when Madden and the guys are talking to the community, is like we're using community feedback and the top community requests. That's what we're implementing in our game. And I think it'd be helpful right now to get that set list of like, okay, here's the 10 things that we want implemented over the next 2 to 3 Maddens. If you can get all these things, even in 3-4 of them a year, we're going to be ecstatic. We're going to be happy with the direction that this game is going. So with EA Play just a couple weeks away, where we're going to get our first look at Madden 21 and what we're going to be getting in this year's title of the game, I'm going to go through 10 things that I think, generally speaking, the community, this is their top list of things they want implemented. Obviously, the community is more so focused on the franchise community, not so much on the Madden Ultimate Team and the pro competitive guys, because let's be honest, the franchise side has been getting the raw dog for just far too long. So I'm going to go through, show some clips and stuff that we've experienced on the channel. I'm also going to include some concepts developed by Deuce Douglas. Go check him out in the video description below. We've used his content and talked about his content before. I think he's one of the most underrated Madden content creators out there. Go check him out. Go support him. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about, in my opinion, is the biggest, and it might take you by surprise, the biggest issue with Madden that we need to get fixed is not scouting, is not coaching carousel, is not relocation, is not created teams, not all these things that we would love to have in the game. For me, the biggest thing that has to be a paramount fix is the AI play calling. And now there's two big factors that go into this one title. I have a video from a couple years ago which still rings true. I haven't seen anything as egregious as the video you're going to see. It might look a little choppy. It's from when we did the Toronto Huskies relocation franchise in Madden 19, maybe Madden 18. And it was like the worst thing I've ever seen. But you guys have seen countless bad play calling. You know, you could be in overtime and the AI team just would like throw a slant to the middle of the field, or they'll run a goddamn running back dive or a running back draw on the 40, and then the time runs out. Like, it's like they're not even trying to win. It feels like they're just calling plays. They're stuck to some script, and the script can't understand what time and point it is in the game, and you just have gameplay completely ruined because the AI is not trying to win. Like, they'll just bleed the clock out. It's in the Super Bowl and they're down 2 scores. They'll just run the ball all the way down to the 2-minute warning and then just kind of go, oh crap, there's 30 seconds left. Here, enjoy your Super Bowl. So from that standpoint, play calling needs to get fixed. We got a video here that's probably the worst version of that. All right, what you're about to see is game from regular season between myself and the Jets, and we are in overtime. There's 5 seconds or less than 10 seconds on the clock. The Jets have no timeouts, and they're in the red zone, and rather than kick the field goal and win, they decide to run a play, throw it right in the middle of the field, and the game ends in a tie. So seemingly the Jets were playing for a tie. Maybe this explains some of the ties that happen, like all the ties that happen in franchise mode. It feels like maybe the AI or the coding was set to like the MUT or playoffs, where you can go to a second overtime. I don't know, man. Looking for a dev response here. And I also think teams need to be unique, right? It feels like every team generally will run the same plays, when that is far from the case in the National Football League. Like, when I play the Baltimore Ravens, I don't want Lamar Jackson throwing it 46 times. I want them to be almost borderline cheesy with Lamar Jackson running. I want that challenge of, when I know I play the Baltimore Ravens, you're going to have to contain Lamar Jackson. When it feels like I play him right now, he plays like a pocket quarterback. He'll step back and throw it 35 times. And credit where credit is due, kind of, in Madden 20, they did patch one of the sim stats for scrambling quarterbacks. They would have better rushing stats. I mean, they would have Lamar Jackson literally have like 3 rushing yards in a single season. They upped it a little bit. Sometimes you'll see 400 or 500 yards. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. But if Lamar Jackson is going to be the Madden 21 cover athlete, people are going to get just miffed right away if, when you hop into a game against the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson isn't scrambling. He is not trying to run against you. That's like in a basketball game. If you put Steph Curry on the cover of 2K21 and he doesn't shoot 3-pointers when you play against him, doesn't make a lot of sense. So this desperately needs to get fixed, and it is my #1 item for Madden 21. And the next item on the list at number 2 is sim realism. If you've watched any of the rebuilds on this channel, any rebuilds anywhere, hell, in your own franchise modes, how many times have you been a 90 plus, 92, 93, 94, 95 overall team. And then it comes to the playoffs and you lose to an 8-8 team that makes the playoffs. Or you're a 95 overall and you go 6-10. It just feels like it's random. It feels like the wins and losses and how your team actually plays and your stats are completely random when it comes to the Madden sim. This is as evident as the video we just dropped yesterday on the channel, the New York Giants realistic rebuild. But MVP Saquon Barkley, we had first and third. Can't wait for us to lose in the wild card somehow. When you have number 1 and number 3 in MVP voting, I have no idea how the sim is going to handle that. So let's just see what's going to happen here. I have no expectations. Even though I should have Super Bowl aspirations with how well my team performed, I have no expectations because it's the sim. But we got the 8-8 Cardinals here on the road. That we should dominate them, right? Unbelievable! Are we just gonna phrase this like the Cardinals just had the greatest defensive playoff performance in the last 20 years? Unbelievable, man. And they're those guys are cut. Who is that? You're both cut. We didn't even score a touchdown. It's all field goals. Unbelievable. I don't want to be like Mr. Negative. Oh, this unfucking believable. So simming in franchise mode is massive. It's a massive part of a franchise mode. Be it you're doing your regular franchise, you're doing a rebuild, anything in between, the sim realism needs to be a lot more rewarding because more often than not, it's just like, oh, congrats on building a good team. You're going to lose to an 8-8 squad. You know, fix the sim realism, make it feel rewarding so that when you do a good job, when you complete a rebuild, when you have the perfect squad in place, you can actually have a realistic chance of having them go to the Super Bowl versus what is more common often than not with that big, oh, can you believe it, you lost to a terrible team upset that happens, I would say 75% of the time in sim, so get that corrected. Talk about scouting for item number 3 on the list. Scouting has been the exact same for quite some time, and it's incredibly bland. So we'll just, for the sake of it, use auto-generated rookies. They did add the fog of war element to it. When they get a hidden dev trait, you have to play 500 snaps to really unlock anything. But look, this tutorial just shows you how basic. Take your time. Hey, take your time on the 3 skills that you can scout. Scouting should be the most rewarding aspect of the off season. It should be something that throughout the regular season, there's great importance. There's an excitement factor. There should be some element of strategy. And that is all aspects that Madden franchise mode is currently failing to hit that mark. So I'm going to show some concepts developed by Deuce Douglas, which I think 99.9% of you guys watching this would love to have it in a franchise mode. So essentially, we'd start by you get a team of regional scouts. A full team, there obviously would have to be a budget, so you couldn't just have the 5-star scouts in every single region. The regions would be defined by college football conference. If you are a West Coast scout, you're going to be getting Pac-12 information. If you are a Southeast scout, you're going to be getting stuff from the SEC. And when having to apply scouts and having scouts have to take time and X amount of weeks to fully scout a player, it's not just going to be let's log in once a week, spam X 3 times to get all the information. There's going to be an element of strategy of what scouts go where, what players do you need. Are you going to send your best scout to the SEC because that's where the best players are? Or are you going to send your best scout to the Mountain West because maybe there's 3 Mountain West quarterbacks that are projected to go in the first round and you desperately need a quarterback? So adding strategy to scouting versus just saying, I'm going to eventually scout the whole draft class. Let me just click X 3 times and get all this information that easily. Not rewarding at all. And then the expansion of just getting 3 abilities. Give us a scouting report. Give us a player profile. And make this information relative to the level of scout that you've applied to said player. If you have a 5-star scout, the most expensive scout, you are going to get information that's 100% accurate. You're going to know exactly the kind of player that you're getting. But if you kind of skimped out a little bit, went with a 2-star scout, you're going to get stuff that's saying this guy's the next Michael Vick, when in reality, he's going to be the next Marcus Vick. And then just have all the information in one little menu. Being able to tab from the scouting report, being able to look at his combine, have a spark score, have the combine. If they have a pro day, show their pro day information and where it is relative to the rest of the players in their class. And then finishing up with their stories. Any story that the certain player was mentioned in at any point during the regular season, have it all in one place So you can find out if, you can also add in hidden elements of player development, character development. Are they going to have red flags? Are they going to have injury history? All that stuff could be fed into stories and all kept in one neat and tidy place. The next item up at number 4 on our list is the scenario engine. They implemented in Madden 21, and I think there's potential there. I think that there was a lot of issues with the scenario engine. I'll show you a prime example of that right now. This is something that we experienced just yesterday in the Madden 20 realistic rebuild of the New York Giants. All right, so Patton, who got first in yards, first in touchdowns, or something like that last year, he went up dev trait, and he was first in yards, first in touchdowns this year. And true Dave Gettleman fashion, can't find a way to get my franchise quarterback on the field. You sure he's going to be an important part of the team in the future? No, I think you're right. So, I mean, you have that issue where the 5th-year option, it just takes no regard to the players. It just feels like it's random. It's like, okay, we're just going to randomly pick option A or option B, regardless if the player's good or not. You also have that chick that shows up every week, and she will say, congratulations on the win when you lose games. It felt like the scenario engine was, I don't know if it was rushed would be the correct word, but it was just not satisfying. And put in more impactful scenarios. Put in scenarios of if you draft a young quarterback, have the veteran quarterback start throwing shade, have there be some friction there, have players demand trades, have players hold out, have players surprisingly retire. You don't have to go the extreme element of blitz the league, have a guy fail a drug test, have steroids, have concussions and all that stuff. I get that's a gray area that you don't want to touch, especially in an NFL licensed game, but you can throw in elements of injuries and contract holdouts and trades in scenarios that just constantly throws a wrench into your franchise modes. So you have to make tough decisions and you have to problem solve, because right now it's just straightforward, just no issues, smooth sailing until I run into an 8-8 team in the playoffs. Number 5 is one we kind of talked about in the small fixes, but more information has apparently or rumored come to light. There was, I think, a pro player that made a tweet saying that he heard there's a rumor that Madden 21 will be cross-platform, so that if you're regardless on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, it's all one community. So if that is a thing, 100 infinity trillion% make it so the community files, the Madden share, is also cross-platform. I just want to make one set of rosters, not have to deal with people trying to make my draft classes on console. Just make a community cross-platform Madden share so that you guys can get my PC draft classes regardless of where you play your Madden. Item number 6 on the itinerary is add a commissioner mode. This actually might be, out of all the things we're going to talk about, maybe be the easiest thing that could potentially be added into Madden 21. Just give us the option versus being an owner versus being a head coach or a player. Just let us be a commissioner. Let us control all 32 teams. Give us the option to manipulate the salary cap, relocate whatever team we want, change divisions. Just give us complete control. Make us Roger Goodell, brand it as Goodell mode or something like that. But I think that's definitely an element that franchise mode has been missing. Item number 7. And we're going to be looking at Drew Brees for this, and it is the regression in a franchise mode. Here we have a 40-year-old Drew Brees who still carries a 94 overall. You could look at Tom Brady. You could look at, Larry Fitzgerald still kind of has a high rating, but generally the quarterbacks are the easiest example of this. Drew Brees is 40, and he's a 94 overall. If this was in franchise mode, and you go 10 years in, no quarterback over the age of 32 is still in the 90s. They regress so unrealistically bad that in your franchise mode, you're never going to be able to have a Drew Brees. You're never going to be able to have a player in the twilight of their career getting better or even maintaining their rating. For the sake of the experiment, this is a player that I've seen regress unrealistically bad. We have Aaron Rodgers. We updated his rating just a little bit. He's a 95 and he's 35. However, let's go a couple years in and see where he's at. Is he going to maintain his rating like Drew Brees, like the Tom Bradys that we get at launch in the base Madden rosters, or are we going to see something different here in franchise mode? After 1 year, he's regressed 4 points for no reason. After another year, another 4-point regression. We'll just finish here. 3 years in, he regressed from a 95 down to an 82. I mean, you look at the statistics here, 41, 38, 36 touchdowns. If this was any quarterback in real life for a base Madden rating, they're not going to go down. They're going to still every year give Aaron Rodgers 95, 96 because he's dominating. He's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the game. But in the sake of Madden, just because he's old, it's just like regardless of what you're doing, here's a at least 4-point regression every single season. So either tone down the regression, either give the really, really good players some sort of passive ability here. Just make it a superstar ability that you do not suffer any regression. Give it to some of the quarterbacks. Make it tough to get, but give it for the ageless players that no matter if they're 29 or 39, they're still playing at a very high level. Or, here's a third option, give us regression sliders. So some people that want to have hardcore regression like this so you can get the old players out of the game and take over with the new guys, you can just leave it as is. But for those of us that want old players who play well to maintain that elite status, that elite ability, give us regression sliders so we can manipulate our franchises and have them go the way we want them to. Item number 8 on the list, and it's going to be the draft. Have you ever thought about the draft in Madden and how it's different than the draft in real life? The draft in real life is exciting. You never know what's going to happen. The draft in Madden is straightforward. You make your pick. Occasionally you can make a trade. Here, I have the #1 overall pick, and I can get 2 firsts and a second. That's actually not that bad. I was actually hoping for a worse example, but credit to Madden here. I got somewhat reasonable value here, but there's no trades. You just go through this. None of the AI teams trade. No big blockbuster trades to trade up. No franchise players that might be in contract years getting traded for draft picks like we see in real life. So I don't know necessarily how they would do it. Maybe just make it so AIs can make trades and blockbuster trades in the draft stage and get a big time alerts. Or maybe you could have stories pop up as you're going through the draft. If a player is slipping, maybe have it somehow predetermined that this guy, oh, he had an injury that popped up. There's a reason why, you know, we'll look at this, we'll say, there's a reason why Ben Ellington, the #1 corner from Northern Illinois, and for the love of God, also Madden Generate classes, please make the schools more appropriate. There's no Northern Illinois corner that's going first overall. There's no San Diego State middle linebacker that's going to have a first-round grade. And how many times do you get, like, UConn? I don't even know if they're Division I anymore. Rice, Wyoming, Tulane. Just make the schools more realistic. That shouldn't be that hard, huh? But also add some sort of element that captures the excitement of the actual NFL draft. I think the easiest way to do so would just have the AI make the ability to have big draft day trades. Item number 9, relocation teams. I have a video, one of my most popular videos in Madden 20, when I highlighted every relocation team in a 23-minute video where I could not be any more sarcastic because it was the exact same teams, the exact same cities, the exact same jerseys and logos that we have had for like 5 years. That is why I had to go to the extreme lengths and flashback pink slips to get a mod team to make the Hawaii Warriors, because I'm sick and tired of the same old teams. Relocating a team should be one of the most exciting things to do in a franchise mode. And Madden, over the last couple of years, just by refusing to give it any sort of update, any sort of attention, has killed off the most unique thing you could potentially do within your own respected franchise mode. So even if there is some sort of hidden agreement, which has been, is it true, is it not true, where the NFL says you can only have these cities, at least go in and redo the jerseys. At least go in and give us some brand new logos so it at least feels a little bit different and gives us something new in Madden 21. And the last item, number 10 on the list, coaching carousel. People have been screaming for this since NCAA 14 to be implemented in Madden. Being able to start your way as a coordinator, not being able to pick what team you get from the start. You're an OC, you need to be able to build up your skill tree. Build up your skill tree. That's something else we need to add into Madden. Not get rid of just, I have a running back boost. I have a boost for linemen. Like, that is so uninspiring, so lazy, so bland. Give me stuff that, like, give me tangible things. Give me something that gives extra XP during the week. Give me something that gives me a game plan advantage. All these different things that you will get as you start as a coordinator at a team that you probably don't get to pick. It's just like, what team will need a new OC? What team will need a new DC? And then you start your journey there. It doesn't just become about winning Super Bowls. It becomes about being a head coach, adding to your skill tree, growing, getting new jobs. Maybe you'll have to bounce around. Maybe you'll have to go 4 or 5 years in your franchise sim until, for me, I could get a job with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I might not even get a head coaching job with the Eagles. Deuce Douglas has, he's a Chiefs fan, so he put Eric Bieniemy. You start as an OC, right? I could be the OC of the Chiefs, be there for 2-3 years, build up my skill tree, add different abilities that's going to make me that much better of a head coach, get a head coaching job in Jacksonville. Maybe that's where my journey takes me. I'm there for a couple years. Maybe we suck because Jacksonville's kind of crappy. I get regressed down to an OC. I get an OC job after I get fired from Jacksonville, finally ending up as the Eagles OC. Then I need to be there again and work my way up to get a head coaching job. It's just an extra element to franchise mode that so many people enjoyed from NCAA. I think this would bring the most life to franchise mode. And a big thing when you talk about Madden is back of the box features. What is something that you could stamp and say, this is something that is brand new to the title? What is going to bring asses into the seats? What is going to make people buy copies of this game? And saying, hey, we have this brand new way to play franchise mode, it doesn't get any bigger than that. That is as big of a back of the box feature. It's not going to be scenario engines. It's not going to say, hey, here's a playable Pro Bowl. No, here is an entirely brand new way to play your franchise mode that is going to be more in depth than you've ever had before. And franchise mode becomes less of, hey, let's see if I can win a Super Bowl in 3-4 seasons to, man, maybe at the end of year 2 of being an offensive coordinator, I'll have enough XP to make it so my quarterback doesn't get hurt all the time. Or maybe I'll have a little bit of an XP boost to my running back so I can help them go up in dev trait. And then it's like, okay, from there, year 2, year 3, where you're in current franchise mode, you're like, oh, my team's already a 90 overall, what do I do? But if you're starting as an OC, now you're just like, okay, I made the playoffs once with the Chiefs, and now a team like Jacksonville or a team like, the Buffalo Bills, they want to hire me as their head coach. So now I'm going to go to a brand new team. I'm going to lose the stack team that I was on that I helped build. And it's constantly just adding that much more life, that much more depth, and gives you a reason to play franchise mode beyond, how many free agents can I sign and how quickly I can win a Super Bowl. Here's a long-term commitment, but at the end, the journey, everything you're going to achieve along the way, it's going to be so much better when it's year 8, year 9, after bouncing around the league to win that Super Bowl with your established coaching tree. So that does it for me here today, guys. Those are the 10 big fixes I want to see in Madden 21. How many are we actually going to get? I haven't heard a single peep about Madden 21. I don't know what we're getting. I know that, it's one of those things where I take the approach in my videos, because I know some of the developers that work on this game. I've met them. It's not a bashing attempt. The biggest thing that I want to stress is, people are like, man, don't these guys, why aren't they just doing things from NCAA that were so fun? A lot of people that work on Madden worked on NCAA. They know the things that need to go into franchise mode. They know the things that people want to go into franchise mode. It's just, it's all about what makes the cut. It's all about what makes the deadline. It's all about what will push copies of the game. And I truly do believe that if we can even hammer out a couple of these things, overhaul scouting, overhaul coaching carousel, take an importance, because you have 2K that's going to be coming back into the football market, right? They're going to be making those. It's going to be a cartoony, arcadey style game. If that's good, they're going to do. That all the anti-Madden, all those people are going to be moving over to that 2K game. So Madden, this is your opportunity to realize, hey, people are going to be buying us to be the sim game. People are going to buy us to do the franchise game. We're going to have to offer what 2K doesn't. And what that means is you have to go all in on franchise mode. You need to make your franchise mode the creme de la creme, because 2K, they're definitely going to have a monetization mode. They're going to make it so you can buy bucket hats and look like LL Cool J in that playground style football game that they're going to be developing. So it's not like you're going to be losing your revenue from Madden Ultimate Team. You guys are both going to have that competition. But what's going to set Madden apart is how they treat their franchise mode. And if they can add these 10 features, this is going to be as good of a franchise mode out of any sport title that is on the market right now. And that should be something that Madden can put a little feather in their cap. We have the premier franchise mode, and that is a marketing tool. You could even just 2K, that's where kids go to play. Franchise mode, if you're a football fan, you're going to buy Madden because you're going to play our franchise mode, which is the best. So put these features in, and you could actually lay claim to that. But that does it for me today, guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about the 10 fixes I have brought forth. Let me know what you have for your suggestions in the comment section below. Like this video, help it get some exposure. Who knows, maybe it'll find its way to the desk of someone at EA, the powers that be, and we can get some of these things accomplished. Make sure you subscribe. We're getting really close to 130,000 subscribers. We're getting ready for Madden 21 season. You're not going to want to miss the content that we have coming up. But that does it for me. See you guys. Peace.